The term the American Dream was coined in 1931 by James Truslow Adams, but the concept existed long before the phrase. According to Truslow, the American Dream focuses on the possibility of personal achievements and the opportunity for every American to make their own future without restrictions from society. Traditionally, the American Dream is the idea that all Americans have the opportunity to achieve success and happiness through hard work. However, this hasn't always been applicable to women as it is today. Over the course of the past century in American history, photography has captured the evolution of the American Dream as it has grown along with the increasing role of women in society. This shows that America as a whole has become more accepting of equality between genders. During the late 19th century, the idea of upward movement in social classes and more personal freedom was becoming more popular, but mostly for men. Women were expected to play a subordinate role and follow the wishes of their husbands. Concerning themselves with anything outside of the sphere of the home was considered out of place. But women did establish organizations against societal issues, like the sale of alcohol. In the early 20th century, women's organizations became more activist and political. Women began fighting for aid for the impoverished, suffrage rights, and child labor laws. In this 1915 photo, women are protesting child labor by striking and putting pressure on factories that allowed this. These women and others like them were eventually successful in 1916 when the first child labor laws were put into effect. They also personify the changing attitudes of women who felt comfortable voicing their opinions outside the home. Therefore, the interpretation of the American Dream for women expanded in such a way that it was possible for women to dream of being involved in society outside of the home. As society's definition of the position of a woman broadened, so did the possibilities of the American Dream, and women could impact the world around themselves instead of just living in it. Building off of activism, the role of women in American society continued to grow. Women wanted to actually be part of the workforce. Social work became the link between activism and a career. For example, many women, like these Hull House social workers pictured in 1938, used this position to help improve impoverished neighborhoods and to educate poor children. As time passed, women slowly entered jobs that were previously only for men. For example, by the 1940s, clerical, secretarial, educational, and nursing professions were seen as predominantly female professions. As well, the decrease in the amount of men in the workforce during the time of World War II created an influx of women into jobs involving heavy machinery and industrial jobs in general. For example, in this 1941 photo, a woman is operating machinery in a drill factory. This shows that by this point in history, the American Dream for women had expanded beyond the home to the point where it included being actively involved, or at least having the option to be involved, in the workforce and holding the same jobs as men. When most women dreamed of their future, they were able to imagine more than a life centered on domestic duties. Set in 1953, the 2003 film Mona Lisa's Smile shows the new presence of feminism and the idea of women having options of lifestyles other than becoming housewives. In the film, a new female art history teacher at Wellesley College tries to show her students that they shouldn't just go to college for the purpose of meeting a husband, and that they have the power to use their education for careers that they're interested in.
Catherine Watson, magna cum laude, UCLA, Dean's List, published in the Art Review. Excellent recommendations.
I can assure all of you this is the place I want to be more than anything.
They were the brightest students in the country.
Be careful, they can smell fear.
This is history of art. Can anyone tell me what this is?
Wounded bison.
Very good. Peasant couple plowing. May goddess 1600 BC.
Well, you girls do prepare.
But in a world of wealth and privilege,
As the Harvard sweetheart.
Divine.
getting an education
It says that you are pre-law.
After I graduate, I plan on getting married.
And then?
And then I'll be married.
means finding a husband.
You've got everything we've ever dreamed of.
Since your wedding, you've missed 6 classes.
Most of the faculty turn their heads when married students miss a class or two.
It's brilliant, really, when you think about it. A finishing school disguised as a college. I thought that I was headed to a place that would turn out tomorrow's leaders, not their wives. To hell with Wellesley, I'm done. Damn it! Did it get worse?
Women need heroes, Catherine.
Come to class or I'll fail you. If you fail me, there will be consequences. Are you threatening me?
I'm educating you.
I thought that was my job.
Do I look a little bit like her?
Goodbye. Good morning.
I think she's fabulous.
From Revolution Studios comes a story of a woman
You can conform to what other people expect of you, or
I know. Be yourself.
who will challenge their minds
you applied to law school?
I never thought I'd get in.
Who's we?
Miss Watson.
and take them on a journey they never imagined.
See past the paint. Let us open our minds to a different idea.
Sandra Day O'Connor was the first female Supreme Court justice. She joined the Supreme Court in 1981, and her position in one of the highest political positions in the United States government shows the great amount of progress women made in the political world up until that point. The American dream for women continued to progress into the 80s through the women's liberation movement. This mostly involved the fight for legal protection of equality in the workforce. Women orchestrated movements and protests across the country, as can be seen in this photograph of women protesting in front of the White House. It was taken in 1982 and captures women demanding equal treatment in the workplace. The determination of these women and others like them led to the success of the equal. As a lawyer, Hillary Clinton was the First Lady with a career of her own. Then, when she ran to be the Democratic candidate in the 2009 presidential elections, this Time magazine cover was created. By using half of her face and half of Barack Obama's, it visualizes the closeness of the success of their campaigns, shows that she was taken seriously. Today in 2010, women can follow any career path of their choosing without resistance as a result of their gender, which shows how much the American dream has evolved. Many professions that were once dominated by males, like doctors and lawyers, now have a strong representation of both genders. This progression of the American dream for women can be seen through people in my own life. Dr. Egan is a pediatrician at my doctor's office. Before becoming a doctor, she worked in banking. She then went on to medical school to fulfill her lifelong dream of becoming a doctor. The fact that she could even dream of becoming a doctor demonstrates how the American dream has progressed. Her family was supportive of her, and a lot of peers in medical school and now at the office where she practices are women too. The fact that she faced no social obstacles in her pursuit of this career shows the progress women have made in gaining equality in the workplace. Independent careers, which lead to self-sufficiency, have become possible for women to attain in today's society. Thanks in part to civil rights advancements and the changes in society that allow women to be viewed as independent individuals with just as much ability as men, women in America truly are able to explore their full capabilities in the professional workplace without social limitations. The American dream isn't just the dream of owning a house or material goods. It's the dream of being able to achieve all that one would like to achieve. A century ago, the guidelines of the American dream stated that all Americans could reach for their goals, but women could not actually do so. Their American dreams were severely limited by society's view of who could be striving for it. However, through social changes, women have begun to play a more dominant role in society, and the idea of a woman's American dream has become acceptable. This shows the overall change in the American dream over the past century, which is to be more inclusive of women. It has changed to meet its original definition, in which each man and each woman shall be able to attain to the fullest stature of which they are innately capable, and it is actually attainable for women.